their final tune-up before the 2002 World Cup in 6 days' time. The Samba boys are in town to face Malaysia. Hello, good evening, I'm Ross, and joined by Shebi, my co-partner, co-commentator. Shebi, nice to have you here. It's a great game as it's already kicked off as we look at the Brazilian goalkeeper now. Brazil, of course, playing in their change strip of blue.
Well, it certainly is a great occasion for Malaysians, Ross, because the Brazilians, as you said, they're on the way to a World Cup. This is serious preparation, and they have come here, and especially in this game, they are going to be able to show us what they will be doing against the likes of Turkey, Costa Rica and China. And it's no nonsense. This is where the real business starts. And I would say that it's a rather interesting lineup there with the Brazilians. They've got number 7, Emerson, 8, Cleberson, and Edmilson in midfield, with Rivaldo playing just behind Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
The much vaunted 3R attack. As we look at a heavy fall there for Edmilson. I'm sure no player would want to do an injury before the World Cup kicks off. And this Malaysian team, this is predominantly the same side that faced Manchester United. Of course, that was a pre-season friendly, and this is a pre-World Cup tune-up, quite different. As we look at Brazil retreating to keep possession, going back to Marcos in goal, who plays for Palmeiras. Lucio plays it forward. Rivaldo showing some of those skills with a white boot. Plays it across, but it's cut out. And Malaysia try and mount an attack here with Tunku Azman, who lost out. Rivaldo picks the ball up in midfield. It's all rather congested in centre of midfield at the moment. But here comes Cafu bombing down this right-hand side. Gets the cross in. And it had to be dealt with. Azmin Azram.
Well, as we saw, Ross, the Brazilians there once again, as always, will rely on the fullbacks getting forward. And it was Cafu breaking down the right-hand side. We've seen him do that so many times. And it was a dangerous cross. It's just a pity that Ronaldo didn't get to the end of that.
Cleberson's corner. Oh, and it's gone against his own crossbar there from a Malaysian defender. And it's going to be another corner from the other side now.
Well, the nerves are beginning to show, Ross, very, very early on. I mean, the coach was worried, Alan Harris was worried that the players might freeze. But I can tell you, if you're playing the Brazilians, you should just go out there and enjoy it.
It's early pressure from the Samba boys. Ronaldinho is going to take the corner from this side now. Swings it outside. Looking for the Malaysia breakout defence. And offside's flagged. Incidentally, all the match officials tonight are from Thailand, and forgive me if I don't pronounce their names, they're rather long. But Shebi, I'm sure, will be able to help me out with that.
Well, why not, Ross? I mean, it is Mr. Rumklay Mongkol who is running the middle, or calling the shots. And I can say that, you know, the less we hear about him will be the better.
As Cafu picks up the ball now, showing some of that Brazilian magic, quick footwork. But he failed to keep it in play. It's a throw to Malaysia. It's nice to see the Malaysian boys are actually not overawed by this event. They're going forward. Throw-ins cleared by Emerson. Ball's just bobbling around in the middle of the pitch. It's a bit of water retention on the pitch there, Shebi. You can see bits of water spraying up.
Well, it has got a bit of a sandy surface, as we can see.
It's been sanded. That's a big tussle for the ball there as Ronaldinho was involved. It's a free kick to the homeboys.
The Brazilians there just kind of getting caught up in the mix there. I mean, we saw Cafu in there, we saw number 7, Emerson, Ronaldinho as well. And I think this is going to be the Brazilians' biggest problem, is getting the 3 midfielders right.
As we look at the Malaysian attack, that was the best attack from Malaysia so far. Marcos came out, and Akmal Rizal showing his pace up front.
Well, he's going to be the one the Brazilians have to look out for. I mean, he's a quick, strong lad. He's not afraid to take on opponents. And I remember correctly at the beginning of the season, really, that he had a very, very good game against Manchester United, and he's definitely looking up for this one.
Yes, and we see Roberto Carlos in an offensive position, a position we're used to seeing him in. As he played back, Brazil keep possession. This is Cafu, working it to Ronaldinho. Back to Cafu again, going for the early cross. And that's the Brazil we know and love.
Yeah,
pass and move stuff, Chevy.
Showed great understanding there, Cafu to Ronaldinho, just held it up enough and then played Cafu in, who had kept on running. As early promise there from the Brazilians.
And it's another corner, second of the game for Brazil. Ronaldinho's corner, and it's just wide from the phenom Ronaldo. First attempt on goal then.
Well, very, very disappointing from Ronaldo. I mean, he actually looked surprised as to how he did not hit the target with that one. And once again, the Malaysian defense very, very loose, very nervous defending from corner kicks. But they'll go down as a very, very big miss from Ronaldo. And I'm sure the Turks, the Costa Ricans and the Chinese will be very happy with that.
Yes, whilst their opponents tonight are preparing for the World Cup, the Malaysian team are gearing up for the Asian Games. They've just come back off a short tour of Myanmar where they drew 2 games, I do believe. And Coach Alan Harris has pretty much kept the same squad of players here. As Brazil pick up possession, this is Rivaldo with the white boots. Playing it back, they're keeping possession. Do you think a trip like this will serve Brazil well, Chevy, for a World Cup?
Well, to be honest, Ross, I mean, I would have expected them to want to play a much more competitive match against possibly one of the contenders, or rather one of the 32 teams at the World Cup. But they've chosen this, and I'm sure the reason being that, you know, Scolari wanted his team away from the pressure of the media. He wanted to try out certain things in training, and for me, I think this is just a nice gesture. It's a kind of a thank you gesture to the host, rather. But they will be looking at this and thinking, we've got to get the goals. We've got to find the back of the net to build up the confidence.
And here's Malaysia on the attack. That's a lovely turn. Place the ball forward. They've still got the ball here. If they can get that across, and the Brazilian defense looked very static then, as Ronaldinho jumps high and misses. Ball's picked up by the Malaysian skipper. Sprays it wide, looking for Khalid Jamrus up front, but no problem for Marcos to deal with. Boots it up long, looking for his front runner.
Well, if there was going to be a weakness in the Brazilian team, even before they started their campaign, Ross, it's going to be the combination of the 2 centre-backs, Lucio and Roque Jr. Because Lucio, with Bayer Leverkusen, he tends to have a roving role where he's always allowed to join into midfield. But we have seen now that a couple of times he's been caught badly out of position, only to be saved by Roque Jr.
Yes, and Brazil pick up the ball here. That looked pretty close for offside, but Ronaldo stayed on, and Azmin Azram picked it up safely.
Yeah, great anticipation there from Azmin, reading that one. Although the Malaysian back four was a bit too flat for my liking, because you know Ronaldo, he sits on the shoulders of the defenders and will be spinning off as often as he can.
Yes, and the spray that you can see is the sand that they've used to cover the pitch with. I'm sure that does you a few injuries, doesn't it, Sherry?
Well, definitely. I mean, it's a very poor playing surface. As you said, Ross, it's sandy, it's very soft on top, not ideal for ball players.
Sorry, cut in there. Quick play from Ronaldinho and Rivaldo. Play continues down that left-hand side as Roberto Carlos joins the attack now, and again, Ronaldo didn't seem like he was expecting that to come through.
Well, not looking too sharp, but this man here, Roberto Carlos, there's twice he's gone down the left flank. We saw Cafu going down the right-hand side. So once again, the traditional Brazil strength of getting the fullbacks forward seems to be working offensively.
And it's Rivaldo now on the ball. Give and go with Ronaldinho. And again, Ronaldinho shouldered out of it fairly, says the referee. Ball is picked up by the Malaysian goalkeeper and knocked long. Good defending, Chevy.
Well, good defending from Nur Hafiz Zamani there, but very good interplay between Rivaldo and Ronaldinho.
But Malaysian possession is short-lived as the Brazilians in blue, of course, tonight, retain possession with their skipper. Going out to Roberto Carlos. He plays it long, looking for the run of Cafu, but that's too long.
Well, it's a great idea there. One fullback trying to play a diagonal for the other one. But Roberto Carlos just hit the ground as he's gone to play, and hence the ball wasn't as accurate as he would have liked it to be.
So with just 10 minutes gone then, in this high-profile friendly between Malaysia and Brazil, it's 0-0 at the moment. Our boys holding up so far. As Ronaldinho cushions a header back, and Rivaldo plays a clever ball to Roberto Carlos, takes on one. Squares it, but that's going to be picked up. And Malaysia now try and break with Akmal Rizal down this left-hand side. He cuts inside. That's great play. But tough tackling there from Lucio. He seems to be given license to wonder a bit more, Chevy.
Well, to be honest, Ross, I mean, you know, he's come 20 meters into the Malaysian half, shadowing Akmal Rizal. I mean, why on earth would a defender, a centre-back, want to do that? I mean, Akmal is 20 meters in his own half. Let him pick the ball up. You drop off, you defend the line, and you make life easy for yourself. And Lucio, once again, as I said, I mean, he's been caught in a very, very bad position a couple of times, and that for me was very poor defending.
Brazil again pick it up. Ronaldinho, I must say, this is the first time I've seen him in action, and that was a superb ball, but Cafu caught offside there.
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, he's looking at the linesman, and I thought the flag went up very, very late.
It did go up very late,
but for us, you know, it's 13 minutes into the game now, as we can see that the two most dangerous attacking players for Brazil are the two fullbacks. It doesn't really speak much for the much vaunted 3R Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. I mean, Ronaldinho, we've seen him a couple of times, looked very, very lively, but I would like to see Rivaldo get more of the ball.
And that's Lucio with the ball. Of course, he's had a very full season with his club side, Bayer Leverkusen, who I understand just lost out on the treble, didn't they, Chevy?
Well, they most certainly did. I mean, they came so near, yet so far. Lost all the competitions they were in with a chance. Lost the Bundesliga, lost the cup, German Cup final, and then lost the big one, the European Cup final.
With the draining season like that, how does one tell oneself to go and play World Cup during the summer? One wonders.
Well, when the World Cup comes around, it's a different kind of feeling. I think tired muscles are not that tired anymore. It's just going to the World Cup, which is the occasion not to be missed.
And we had glimpses then of Rivaldo spreading the play. He's set to be the playmaker behind the front too, trying to get Roberto Carlos off there. But that didn't work out. Malaysia get the throw. Brazil pick the ball back up again. The challenges are quite tasty, aren't they, Chevy?
Well, I can tell you that, you know, from what I've seen of the Malaysians so far, I am really pleased. They are getting their tackles in. They've kept shape very well. They've crowded out the Brazilians in midfield. But set-piece situations with big Lucio, big Edmilson coming up, I think this is where the problem is for the Malaysians.
You were saying to me before the game, you fancy Lucio for a goal from the back. Let's take a look at this Ronaldinho free kick. He's gone straight for goal. And Azmin Azram forced the back pedal, makes a good save.
Well, I would love to see the replay of that one. Everybody expected Ronaldinho to play it in the middle for Lucio and Edmilson. And even Azmin Azram was off his line expecting a cross. And I would say that in the end it turned out to be a great save.
Yes, and the corner comes in, and oh, that one's off the line.
Well, it was Lucio there coming very, very close. Good save on the line, good defending. The two postmen stayed in there.
Doing what they're supposed to. The pressure continues with another Ronaldinho corner. And, oh my goodness, Ronaldo, an open goal.
Well, the ball did bounce a bit unkindly in front of him, but I can tell you that he's looked very, very sluggish in the beginning. Big Ron is nowhere near what we're so used to seeing. But then again, he's had a horrendous 3 years.
That's true. He's still playing his way back to fitness.
If you look at that, Azmin Azram's actually going off his line, expecting the cross, and Ronaldinho did extremely well.
Look at Ronaldo now, breaking free. But the referee's called for an offside play. It's been brought back. A glimpse then of what everyone's been talking about. Play continues with Malaysia. Trying to keep it tight across the back. As we look at Luis Felipe Scolari there, urging his team forward. This is Roberto Carlos looking for Ronaldo. Ronaldo turns, takes on his player, tries a shot, but that's charged down.
Well, good defending again.
Great defending.
This time...
But Brazil pick up the ball. This is Rivaldo. He's given time to turn. He's looking. He's trying a shot, and that wasn't far off from Rivaldo.
Well, he had the time, he had the space there as the Malaysians, backed off. And I would say that, well, he's got to go for that. We all know that he can strike the ball from 30 meters. And I think Scolari must really be upset with the start that his team has made.
Yes, I'd say Malaysia holding Brazil in the first 16 minutes quite comfortably at the moment. They keep possession, they try down this left-hand side, knocking it long. They're looking for the pace of Akmal Rizal up front. He is very nippy, because he was one of the very few Malaysian players who played his football abroad, didn't he, Sherry?
Well, most certainly, and you can tell the difference straight away. I mean, his movement of the ball, the way he receives the ball, and the way he's always ready to make that run behind the defense. He certainly is our brightest prospect here.
You could say he's the Brazilian of our team. As we look at the Brazilians now, stomp forward. But again, it's a yellow wall in front of them, and they seem to be running out of ideas at the moment. That's a foul, obstruction by Lucio. Edmilson, I beg your pardon. It's a free kick to Malaysia.
Well, I can tell you, Ross, that there seems to be a little bit of confusion in the way the Brazilians are playing. Edmilson, the big number 5, who should be playing a holding role in midfield, he's more often than not slotted in at left back, allowing Roberto Carlos to get forward. And that is where I think the Malaysians are really very happy, because they've only got the number 7, Emerson, and the number 8, Kleberson, to deal with in midfield. And I think once we have that numbers in that area, we're going to be all right.
Of course, the Brazilians fly off to Japan and Korea tomorrow for their World Cup, and Cafu nearly got through down that right-hand side. Ronaldinho played him in, but Cafu picks up the ball. It's all very tight now as the Malaysian skipper tries to put his foot on the ball. He was fouled, said the referee. Free kick to Malaysia.
Well, Ahmad Sharul Azhar, the Malaysian skipper, did extremely well. And we saw Emerson gesturing there at Kleberson. All the Brazilians at the moment seem to be in 6s and 7s in midfield. They're really, looking at the way they're playing right now, I mean, they've only got 2 in midfield.
And that's a loose ball, but Azmin taking the safe way out, clearing it. Do you think maybe the heat is affecting even a team like Brazil, Shabby? As we look at Ronaldo, miscontrol a ball, picked up nicely, and the Malaysians now, if they can break quickly, they can put this Brazilian team in danger, but that ball goes to nowhere.
As we can see, that's the number 5 I was talking about, Big Edmilson. I mean, yes, he's a central midfielder, but he's found himself in the left-back slot too many times for my liking.
Rivaldo plays it forward with Roberto Carlos, more or less a left winger of sorts at the moment. Brazilian skipper plays it back to Roberto Carlos, looking for Rivaldo now. They don't want to be giving him too much room, the Malaysians, as Rivaldo prods his way around. He's got the ball to Ronaldo now, as Ronaldo takes a shot, and great handling from the Malaysian goalkeeper. Made that look effortless.
Well, he certainly did. Once again, I mean, the Malaysian defense, although there were a lot of yellow shirts in there, nobody closed Ronaldo quick enough. And he took, I would say that he took a chance on that one, Ross. I mean, it just looked like he took a swing with his left foot, but Azmin Azram was there. Good handling from him, as you said.
And play spread to Cafu. Forward to Ronaldinho. That's a beautiful return to Cafu. And Brazil get a corner.
Well, Ross, it is about now that they need a goal. They need to get a decent delivery to the likes of Lucio and Roque Jr. because I think there's going to be a lot of frustrated Brazilian fans. 20 minutes gone, and yet we've not seen anything to suggest that Brazil are going to be a threat at the World Cup.
And here comes the corner. Again, a beautiful save from Azmin Azra. He really is doing wonders in goal at the moment. Again, the cross comes in from Ronaldinho, but that time way over from Rivaldo.
Well, the first one was a wonderful delivery, Ross, as I said, and Lucio got his head down to it, possibly just headed it down into the ground. Yeah, just nice for Azmin Azram to deal with. And when the second ball was played in, it's always going to be difficult for Rivaldo as the ball was curling away from him.
So it's still no score here at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil. It's Malaysia versus Brazil before they go off to the World Cup. And it's a throw. Cafu takes it quick. As we look at the replay here of the header, but... And that's a wonderful save there by Azmin Azram again. Great reactions. Go back to live pictures now. Goalkeeper throws it long. The front players are not really moving, and not really moving much for the Malaysian midfield, and it's not giving many options for the likes of Ahmad Sharul Azhar in midfield to play the ball through.
Yeah, a bit disappointing there. I think I would like to see Khalid Jamlos get involved a little bit more, and I think the Malaysian midfield should be looking for Khalid more often instead of just trying to play the ball behind the Brazilian defense. I mean, we've got two good front players who love the ball at their feet.
Ronaldo running with the ball, showing too much of it to the Malaysian defense. How do you think Scolari will play this? Will he field a totally different team in the second half, do you think?
Well, it'll be interesting because I do not think that at the moment...
They're not saying much, are they?
Well, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, it just doesn't seem to be working.
Malaysians try and get the play going quickly. The give and go didn't quite work. Roberto Carlos read that, plays it back to his goalkeeper, Marcos. He's not really had a lot to do, Marcos. Ronaldinho picks it up, but the Malaysian skipper doing wonders in the middle there. Rosti Talib keeping possession, going back, and they lose out to Emerson, who wins himself a free kick, the Roma midfielder. Ronaldinho tries to get Ronaldo through. The idea was right, the execution not so good. And of course, high-profile friendly games, we're getting a whole lot of international. Of course, Manchester United came here to play Malaysia. I can tell you that Chelsea are due here end of July. When are we going to see Tottenham here, your beloved Tottenham, Chevy?
Well, I mean, it could happen. It could happen soon, Ross.
Here's Ronaldo with a beautiful layoff for Rivaldo. Ronaldo wanted it back, but Rivaldo was looking for Ronaldinho. And there, the 3-all partnership broke down.
Well, there were options there for Rivaldo. He should have chosen Ronaldo, really, but decided that Ronaldinho was
This is Cafu hassling, getting the ball, looking for Ronaldo early, and again, he wasn't expecting it maybe. Cafu keeps possession. Sorry, I beg your pardon, that was Emerson down his right-hand side. So, studs showing in that tackle there. Ronaldinho, he's playing very deep now to keep possession. Wonderful tackle there from Ahmad Sharul Azhar. Quick in.
Very good defending there from the Malaysians as a team, Ross. You know, the back four have held their line, and the midfield have always been very, very quick with their interceptions. They're doing extremely well. And as you can see that the likes of Ronaldinho now in the picture, he's having to drop deeper and deeper into midfield to pick the ball up, and that will work fine for our defense.
That's right, it's making him less effective. And in case you're wondering, 25 minutes gone, Malaysia 0, Brazil 0. Looking good for it too, we are. This is Brazil trying... something wrong perhaps with Emerson there? An arm injury?
His armband.
His captain's band needed retaping.
Yeah, but I can tell you, Ross, that it's been very disappointing from the Brazilians and Scolari. I mean, you can't have two midfielders up against four.
This is Cafu down its right-hand side. The ball comes in quick, well dealt with by the Malaysian defence. Now they look for Akmal Rizal up here. Look at the pace on him. He's taking on Rocky Jr. and he nearly had him.
Well, they certainly had to work very, very hard. Akmal Rizal there, not afraid to attack the space.
Long ball looking for Roberto Carlos, who does keep it in play. Chooses to go back. Rivaldo now, looking for a delicate chip in. That's Ronaldinho with the ball. It's back to Cafu and... oh, what a miss. Great defending. Ronaldo fails to score.
Well, the Brazilians there will be wondering. I mean, look at that look on Ronaldo's face. He just can't believe it. I mean, he had an open goal to shoot at, and he hit a defender with that.
And it's action stations in the Malaysian penalty area at the moment. As this corner comes in, Rivaldo takes it down with consummate ease. Swung in again. Good claim, good punch from Azram in the Malaysian goal. Ronaldinho now picking it up very deep, flicking it to Ronaldo. Ronaldo turning, but robbed. He's not looking sharp, Chebby, as Malaysia break now.
Well, certainly not looking up to world-class standards.
As we look at a replay here of that chance, beautiful cross by Cafu. Clear cross goal. Ronaldo with all of the goal to aim for. Great defending.
Well, if you look at that again, I mean, Cafu just was aware of where Ronaldo was. And surely Ronaldo should have hit the back of the net with that one.
No Hafiz Zamani, great positioning. And now it's Brazil again, looking for the long shot. It's that man again, No Hafiz, keeping it out. Emerson, bring it now. Touch of handball, I thought then. It's the Brazilian skipper. Plays for AS Roma. Ronaldinho, who plays for PSG in France. Brought down. He looks tasty with the ball, doesn't he, Ronaldinho?
Well, he certainly has looked much sharper than Rivaldo and Ronaldo. And this is a great distance for Rivaldo. If you look at that, lovely footwork there. And a poor challenge from Tengku Hazman.
Are we going to see Roberto Carlos up here as well for this one?
Well, I think they will leave it to Rivaldo to attempt one, because I think from that distance you need Rivaldo to curl the ball, to put some spin on it.
So, the great man from Barcelona, the number 10 for Brazil, standing over the ball. Roberto Carlos, just 15, 20 feet behind him, looking for that long run up. This is Roberto Carlos, playing it short. Cafu now, that's great play. And that's gone out for a corner. A variation on the free kick.
Well, it did work up until that point where Cafu tried to play it across the goal. I mean, you would expect Rivaldo to try to curl it, or Roberto Carlos to try to blast it, and they did neither one. And it's a complete waste. But this is where the real danger is. From corner kicks, I do expect them to get a goal.
What must Alan Harris be thinking? He must be quite proud of his boys. Corner comes in from Kleberson. Tengku Hazman knocks it on, but it's picked up again. Again, the Malaysian defence breaking as a unit, keeping very firm, and they're looking very compact.
Very well organised is the word for our midfielders as well. I think Ahmad Sharul Azhar, the skipper, and Tengku Hazman have done a great job in central midfield.
It's Cafu again, invited to come down this right-hand side. Ronaldinho playing as the man behind the front one of Ronaldo as they look for Ronaldo again. Roberto Carlos, and again it's soaked up by the Malaysian defence.
Well, there was much better play this time. Rivaldo switching in for Roberto Carlos, who chose to hit it very, very early, which I thought was the right thing to do. But unfortunately, they never got enough blue shirts in the box for that one.
This is Kleberson looking for Ronaldinho, who won the header. Perhaps he was looking to cushion that for Ronaldo, and again the understanding is not there between the three R's.
Well, but Ronaldinho has certainly looked the sharpest of the lot, together with Roberto Carlos and Cafu.
This is Roque Jr. using his goalkeeper, Marcos, who's had very, very little to do, to be fair.
Well, all said and done, Ross, I mean, this is not working for the Brazilians. They will need to revert back to their traditional 4-4-2.
As we look at Cafu, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, they're looking for Roberto Carlos down this left-hand side. He takes on his play, he gets a lovely cross in, and it's Ronaldo! A wonderful save again. Perhaps it should have been left to Rivaldo, that one.
Well, there was excellent footwork there from Ronaldo. Love to see a close-up of that one. Did extremely, extremely well, but full marks to Azmin Azram, not allowing Ronaldo to beat him.
The pressure mounting. Half an hour gone now, and Azmin again coming, claiming, punching. This is Akmal Rizal with a break perhaps. He's stopped by Kleberson. Rivaldo trying his trickery, but to no effect. Cafu now with the ball, looking for Rivaldo. Beautiful return ball to Ronaldo, and again Azmin Azram. Brave goalkeeping. Wonderful play by the Malaysian goalkeeper. He's been the star man of this half so far.
Well, it's been excellent goalkeeping, excellent anticipation there. And this was the earlier incident. Look at that, Ronaldo coming to shoot, going one way, but Azmin Azram stood up well. And yes, Ross, if you ask me to pick a man of the match so far, I'd go with our goalkeeper, Azmin Azram.
Definitely, he's the busier of all players on the pitch. As we look at Roberto Carlos there, he was maybe 3 feet offside there. He's saying no to the linesman. He looked off to me.
Well, as you can see from his reactions there, frustration is beginning to creep in. He thought he made a good run, but I will go with the linesman on that one.
If you're Philip Scolari, Chevy, what are you expecting at this game? At least 4-0, 3, 4, 5.
Well, I would be expecting at least 3 goals per half minimum. But then again, if I was Felipe Scolari, I would not play the way the Brazilians have done. I look at the number 5 at Milson. I think he's a complete wasted player, playing as a third centre-back almost.
Out of position he does look.
Very, very poorly set up this team is. And the 3 R's there, I mean, Rivaldo's got to be more involved. He's got to be the one picking the ball up from midfield and setting off the 2 strikers. But he's useless when, as a midfielder, he's got his back to the opponent's goal. That's not Rivaldo. Rivaldo is good when he's facing the opponent's goal.
That's Cafu with the quick throw, looking for Ronaldinho, by far Brazil's liveliest player, but that ball went a bit wrong. Rosdi Talib back to Azmin Azram, Malaysia's man of the match so far this half. Malaysia now try their luck down that right-hand side. Keeping possession, Tengku Azman going back. This is good play from the Malaysian, and the crowd are appreciating this, as you can hear. Switching it down this left-hand side now. Rosdi Talib, great play. And that's a corner. Lucio couldn't keep that in. Indra Putra, furthest he's wandered so far in this half, Shabby.
Yes, he is. He's certainly one of our better midfielders. He's the one who loves running with the ball. And over there we saw attempting to take on Lucio. And Lucio there, not really showing the composure of a world-class defender. Not really showing that, you know, he's got what it takes. And I think frustration will creep into this Brazilian team.
So it's Malaysia's first corner of the game then. Look at Lucio and Marcos towering above Akmal Rizal. Corners played short. They've still got the ball. This is great football by Malaysia, and it needed a challenge there from Roberto Carlos.
Well, Roberto Carlos, they're having to work overtime. But Indra Putra, once again, as I said, he's a player who loves running with the ball, not afraid to take on the Brazilian defense. And I think Roberto Carlos could be forgiven for thinking that this is the La Liga he's playing in, not a friendly game against a third world country.
Surprisingly though, Marcos hasn't had a save to make, although he's had to deal with some pressure, especially lately.
Well, it's also fair to say in the 36 minutes gone, not in any single period in the game have Brazil dominated.
Yes, I agree with that.
Given possession away too easily, the Malaysians have an equal share of the possession as well, and the Brazilians have come close with Ronaldo twice, but their best option again remains from set pieces.
Ball long, looking for Cafu. Ronaldinho picks it up from Cafu, plays it inside to Rivaldo, gets it back. Goes back to Emerson, switches it to the left-hand side, and Roberto Carlos. Ronaldo picks it up very deep. Is he going to run at the defense? He's trying. Goes for a 1-2 from Rivaldo. Malaysia clear it. Roberto Carlos tries again. And again, Malaysia pick up. Looking very composed at the back, Malaysia at the moment, and not very troubled by this Brazilian side. Nutmegging Cafu.
Well, that's one to remember, really. I mean, that's how poor the Brazilians have been generally as a team.
And the Malaysian confidence, you can see, growing as the minutes wear on. And similarly, you can see the frustration mounting for the Brazilians. The longer it stays 0-0. This is Ronaldinho, back to Rivaldo. And again, great defending. Eye on the ball. Malaysia break. Down this right-hand side. They're looking for Akmal Rizal in the middle. They get another chance to find him. And Lucio didn't deal with that convincingly.
But Khalid Jamlus, we saw on the occasion, I thought he would have tried to take on Milson, but opted to go in for the early cross. And it was Akmal Rizal all alone up front. Not enough support from the Malaysian midfield on that occasion.
As Brazil try to work it forward again. Rivaldo. It's a commentator's dream, Rivaldo, with your white boots, isn't he? Easy to spot.
It certainly is. And he hardly seen the ball.
Shame he doesn't play like a Brazilian.
It's Scolari's nightmare.
As Cafu, Brazil are keeping possession that's not really doing Malaysia any harm at the moment.
Well, it's all very nice for the Malaysians. I mean, everything the Brazilians have done is play in front of the defense, in front of the midfield.
And although Malaysia are the home team, the onus is, you feel, on the Brazilian team to be attacking. As we look at a couple of changes now from the Malaysian coach.
But I'm not really sure about this. I think it's a bit early. I think the boys should be allowed at least 45 minutes from the way the first 11 have played against Brazil. They've handled the situation.
Maybe Alan Harris.
Handled the atmosphere.
Maybe Alan Harris thinks he can win this.
Well, I can tell you, that's not a nice thought to have. Because the Brazilians have got the magicians, but they're all on the bench. Nielsen, Vampeta, Juninho, the offensive players who can attack from midfield.
And this is a great breakdown. Liu Kit Kong, but stopped. And the Brazilians, they're looking jaded. Perhaps the heat is getting to them. That's a great looking ball, but yes, Ronaldo puts that away, but that's offside. And there we go, substitutions coming on now.
Well, looking at that ball, I mean, that was where I love to see Rivaldo. 10 meters in his own half, picked the ball up, was facing the Malaysian goal, and then he played a glorious 35-yard ball over the defense for Ronaldo. Unfortunately got offside. Now that is where I would like to see Rivaldo. Otherwise, I think this Brazilian team has been very, very flat.
Muhammad Syukur Adnan's come on for Tengku Hazman for the Malaysian side.
Well, that's an interesting one because Syukur Adnan will give you a lot more work. He works very much harder. Tengku Hazman is the more offensive player.
And this is Rivaldo showing that beautiful skill. Oh, just failing to get the return from Ronaldinho.
Well, it was a very, very congested centre of defence there. And the Brazilians just not having too many options in attack. Always insisting to play down the middle. And it has been very, very nice and easy for the Malaysians.
And the second substitution, it's Shahril Faisal coming on. And I do believe he's replacing Sabri Sulong.
Well, this is very interesting. I mean, the substitutions, Syukur Adnan, a more defensive Syukur Adnan for Tengku Hazman was all right, but I don't understand why Sabri Sulong, the right fullback, had to go off. I thought he was having a good game. I would say all the 11 on the pitch have had a good game so far.
I would say so. That's miscontrolled and out as we look at a replay now of a foul by Capuo. Play continues with Ronaldinho now on the ball. Brazil are playing this at walking pace at the moment. They seem to be running out of ideas. But this is Ronaldinho dropping deep, picking the ball up, trying to give it to Rivaldo. Ronaldinho switching it down to that left-hand side. Roberto Carlos picks it up. He goes for a shot, and that was tame, really. Not going to beat Azmin Azram from that distance.
Well, as you can see that look on Roberto Carlos's face. He just about seems to have had enough. I think they'll be looking forward to the half-time break. And Roberto Carlos, as you said, Ross, with a half-hearted attempt. Well, it's pretty obvious now that it's not worked for the Brazilians. You can't play with three up front. All of them with their backs to goal. And not enough invention in midfield. Emerson, of course, is not the most creative of players. Number 8 has been very disappointing. Kleberson.
Yes. And as you say, Edmilson looks out of place at that back, in the back three. But the Malaysian skipper, he's had a good half, Ahmad Shahrul Azhar. He's been quick in tackles, tigerish, he's been hard, he's been pushing his team on, and that's a beautiful ball from him again. And in that time, unfortunately, Akmal Rizal just straight offside.
Well, he did extremely well there. Early ball played in for him from Khalid Jamlos. Just unfortunate there, and I think it was Lucio there who will really thank the linesman's flag for going up. Caught flat-footed again.
What's Brazil at the moment, Chevy? Number 3, number 4, number 5 in the world, and we're giving them as good as we can get. As we look at Ronaldinho now, switching down that left-hand side. He's definitely been Brazil's liveliest player. Looking for Cafu down this right-hand side, Rivaldo, who's been very static. He's been caught a lot, Rivaldo. Again, getting the ball back. He's not getting as much time as he would like on the ball.
Well, as I said, I mean, you don't want Rivaldo playing with his back to goal. And Indra Putra on that occasion just shepherding him away towards his own goal. Good defending from the Malaysians.
Emerson, the captain of Brazil. Cafu. Nice running by Kleberson there. Picks up the ball. That's laid off to Emerson. But the Malaysians are saying, come, they're inviting the Brazilians onto them at the moment, and the Brazilians are coming up with nothing. Illustrated by that stray ball there. Good play by Malaysia, keeping the possession. We're approaching half-time, we're in the final minute, and it looks like the Brazilians are tiring.
Well, it's been of their own making. I mean, Scolari is trying out a system which obviously just doesn't seem to work. And yet, I mean, he's allowed the first half to go through, not wanting to make the changes. You've got to go back to a conventional 4-4-2. They've got to bring in the likes of Nielsen.
Yes.
Obviously, Vampeta or Juninho. You need the runners from midfield.
We're in the minute added on at the end of the first half, a minute extra time, and that just bounced off Akmal Rizal's shin and went the wrong way as Lucio picks it up.
Yes, Ross, and in the first half, we've not seen any fluidity, we've not seen any flair from the Brazilians. All very disappointing. Ronaldinho has been top man.
As
Roberto
you say that,
Carlos
he gives the ball away.
As the commentators.
And here's Ronaldo now, looking for a run at the Malaysian defence, and again, they've done superbly. They've marshalled Ronaldo like he wasn't there, and that man, that bench looks worried there, Shabby.
Well, they most certainly do. I mean, look at the glum faces there, and why not? It's been a very, very disappointing performance. If you didn't know that Brazil were in blue, you would actually be saying, oh, that Brazil are doing quite well, but they're not the team in yellow.
And Malaysia try an attack down this left-hand side, but that's classy defending there. Cafu, who's more of a right winger than a right back, looking for Kleberson. He spreads it, and it's half-time here at the National Stadium, Bukit Jalil. And the fans, are they Malaysian? Are they Brazilian? They're happy with it. It's 0-0 here. Malaysia have given, that's good.
Option. I mean, he's a master dribbler, loves running with the ball, will commit defenders, will provide a lot more options. And that is what is needed, really. I mean, Scolari will realize that he's got to go to Korea, Japan to try to break down the Turks, the Costa Ricans, the Chinese. But has he shown anything of that? No, he's not.
Yes, the much vaunted 3R attack has been pretty blunt so far. Rivaldo, Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, who of course the first time they played together was against Portugal. That ended up in a 1-1 draw, and so far after 45 minutes it's been 0-0 against the mighty Malaysia.
Well, and it's no surprise that the number 5 that I was talking about in the first half, Edmilson, he's gone off. So Brazil are going into a conventional 4-4-2 now.
Yeah.
Rivaldo will sit in front of Emerson in central midfield and try to get the forwards going. But this man, Ronaldo, on the ball there, he's been very disappointing. He should have had a couple of goals at least. I would say goals that he doesn't deserve from his overall performance. But this is the real test now for the Malaysians. They've done extremely well in the first 45. Let's hope that continues.
And we're underway then. Second half of Malaysia versus Brazil. Let me warn you, or let me tell you rather, on in July, 24th of July, another team comes into town. They too wear blue. They are Chelsea, and they'll be playing the Malaysian national team. And if Malaysia are holding Brazil, I think they'll whip Chelsea, wouldn't they?
Well, I wouldn't be too sure of that. I mean, look forward to seeing the combination of Jimmy Floyd and Good Johnson, who will definitely provide the Malaysian defense with plenty more headaches than Triple R has done.
As we look at Nielsen earlier on having a first touch, but that came to nothing, and the Malaysian and Didas come on as well in goal for Marcos, who really didn't have a shot to save. Now the Malaysian team look like they're coming out and they're starting the second half like they ended the first half. They're full of fight and they're doing okay so far. They get a free kick down this left-hand side.
Well, the battle is going to hot up in central midfield. We see there Shuko Adan up against the Brazilian skipper Emerson. Two players who will not take any prisoners. And it's good to see Shuko Adan standing up to that challenge.
Free kicks played short. That's good movement from the front players. Malaysia now attacking down this left-hand side. Cafu forced to do a bit of defending. That's the furthest back we've seen him. The attack's broken up. But the Brazilians don't get very far. The Malaysians pick it up at a halfway point. Brilliant ball forward, first time ball. Looking for Khalid Jamlus, who, he tried to lay that back, and that was read by Lucio, who breaks. Look at those long, striding legs as they break forward. This is Rivaldo. Some quick feet from Rivaldo. Finds some space, looking for the right ball to play. He's looking for Ronaldinho down this right-hand side. Ronaldinho sways past one. Still got the ball. Too many Malaysian players, and again, the Brazilians running out of ideas. And first touch of the ball for Dida in the Brazilian goal.
Well, once again, Ross, I mean, if you spend too much of time on the ball, the element of surprise is gone. And the Malaysian defence again, helped by a very, very hard-working midfield. Ahmad Sharul Azhar and Shukor Adan there, doing excellent work, denying the Brazilian space once again, as the story just seems to continue from the first half.
Roberto Carlos with the ball down his left-hand side, looking for Ronaldo. He picks up the ball. Ronaldo running at the Malaysian defence, but again, they seem to be quicker than Ronaldo.
Well, hasn't looked at his sharpest, has he? I mean, had two excellent chances.
Azmin must be the most confident man on the pitch at the moment with that defence in front of him.
Well, I would say that, you know, the defence would have gained a lot of confidence from having Azmin behind them. I mean, he's dealt with everything that's been thrown at him.
I think the Malaysians are bringing on someone, Chevy. They're bringing on Zainizam Marjan, and they're taking off Khalid Jamlus.
Well, it is rather interesting. I mean, Khalid's just had about 3 minutes of the second half and he's gone off. And Zainizam Marjan, of course, he's the younger brother of one Matlan Marjan who's got 2 goals against England.
Back in the old days.
Back in the old days.
When you were playing, Chevy. When the shorts were really long and...
Well, the legs were really long and the shots were really short.
Okay, right. As we look at Malaysia, maintain possession here. They're doing us proud, the boys in yellow. I'd love to know what the foreign press are thinking sitting in front of us here, the Brazilian press. I don't think they're very pleased. This is the Brazilian skipper on the ball, trying to switch things to this left-hand side. Roberto Carlos now picking it up. Rivaldo laying it back off. Now to Nielsen, who plays for Betis in Spain. Spreading it wide to the right-hand side now. Cafu venturing forward. Rivaldo. It's still Brazilian pressure as we look at the Malaysian substitute who's just come on for some reason. Denilson with the ball, looking for Roberto Carlos. That was a better run, but again, that was cleverly read by the Malaysian defence. And they break free now with Akmal Rizal on the run. He's got the pace, and Lucio's keeping with him. He's gone past Lucio like he wasn't there, and he just couldn't stay on his feet, although he's got possession back, Akmal Rizal. The fans are certainly warming to this Malaysian forward player.
Well, once again, Lucio's defensive qualities, or rather lack of defensive qualities, badly exposed there by Akmal Rizal. And once again, Ross, I mean, he does look a very, very good player, Akmal. Very positive, decided to take Lucio on, lost the ball, won it back again. And that's good battling from the front.
I tell you what, there's good future for the Malaysian players at the moment, although the referees let a couple of fouls, I thought, go. Brazil keep possession. Looking for the quick ball through, and again, the Malaysian defence tigerish. Snapping in, clearing it. And the majority of the crowd here are all wearing yellow shirts, and they're cheering Brazil, although the home team are the ones that are deserving of cheering at the moment, as we see another substitute. Muhammad Juzaili about to come on. Plays still with Rivaldo. Emerson. Spreading it right. Cafu inside to Ronaldinho. Quick ball, gets the return. Ronaldinho looking for Rivaldo, and this is Ronaldo! And it's a goal! There we have it. 1-0 Brazil. Ronaldo, and was it deserved?
Well, there was a very, very large slice of luck there. I think the ball actually cannoned off a Malaysian player, fell into Ronaldo's path, and all he had to do was to stab it home. Well, I think he would have enjoyed that, hitting the back of the net. But if we look at it again, Ronaldinho played the ball through, and there it was, Rivaldo and the Malaysian defender both clashing for the ball breaking very, very kindly for the Brazilians. If you look at that again,
Yes,
it's come off a Malaysian defender, and Ronaldo will say thank you very much. All goals count, and it's Brazil 1-up. Typically calm finish there from Ronaldo,
yes.
but undeserved, I would say.
So Brazil are 1-up. That's the goal scorer. Do his confidence the world of good. Emerson spreads it wide now, looking for Cafu. Maybe we're going to see Brazil open up a bit more here. Cafu lays it back. Ronaldinho keeping possession. That's played into Ronaldo. He's nodded it off. Rivaldo took a bit more time than he had then. Gets the ball back again. That's beautiful skill, but that's gone wide. Glimpses now we're starting to see of the Brazilians. That was Kleberson with a shot there.
Yeah, this is the goal again. It's Ronaldinho playing the ball through.
Ronaldo.
And it was a poor deflection there, or rather a poor clearance there from Malaysia's number 6, Jalil Faisal. And it felt ever so kindly for Ronaldo.
Great finish. Calm as you like. It's a Malaysian chance now. Goes begging. So Brazil have that goal under their belt. Are we going to see a different Brazil now? As Emerson tries to get Cafu forward.
Well, it's already up to the Malaysians now. They've got to keep their composure. They mustn't let that one goal, let it affect them. Just continue playing the way they have been. Very well organized, very solid in midfield.
I must say, Rivaldo has looked very disappointing in that hole behind the front two. As we see, the Nielsen try his trickery there, but he was brought down. It's a free kick to Brazil. We're going to see the big guns up for this free kick, I think.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if there's another set piece up their sleeve, or are they going to go for goal? Are they going to try to curl it, or is Roberto Carlos going to try to blast it? But Nielsen there, once again, a natural wide player has come on there, and he is beginning to create a lot of problems for the Malaysians.
Yes, it's noticeable that since they've switched to the 4-4-2 that the goal has come for Brazil.
Well, it certainly has given them numbers in midfield.
So it's Rivaldo behind his free kick, swinging it very wide. Lucio clipping it back. That's cleared by the Malaysian defence. Emerson picking it up. Back to Rivaldo. Emerson again. Brazil going back, being very patient. Roberto Carlos now picking up the ball. Goes for a 1-2 with Nielsen. Gets the ball back down his left-hand side. Looking for Nielsen again. Nielsen has shown the touches since he's come on. Emerson clipping that ball in, and that's Ronaldo offside. He doesn't think so.
Well, he's got the bit between his teeth now, so to speak, and he's looking for more goals.
It's amazing what confidence a goal brings to a striker, doesn't it, Chevy?
Well, it certainly is, and in Ronaldo's case, I think he has looked sluggish overall, though, but you can see that in the box, the ball at his feet, he's looked very sharp. There's excellent control.
Great control. Back to the play, goes out for a Malaysian throw, and we're not seeing, we're seeing some activity rather from the Brazilian bench. I think maybe Scolari's going to try something different.
Well, definitely on the hour mark, Ross, I would expect him to make some changes. He needs to inject some flair and some pace into this team. That's been very, very flat. Very fortunate to be one up from a wicked deflection of a defender.
And this is good play now we're seeing from the Malaysian side as the skipper tries to chip that in, and that just didn't have enough on it. Ball's picked up by Emerson in midfield for Brazil as Rivaldo throws himself about. He gets away from 1, from 2, from 3, and he's brought down there.
Well, I would like to see little Juninho come on in place of Rivaldo, because I think Juninho would provide a lot more options. He's a great passer of the ball, he's got great vision.
Of course, he's matured a lot since his Middlesbrough days, isn't he?
Most definitely. Had a horrific injury when he went to play in Spain for Atletico Madrid.
And this is Akmal Rizal now picking up the ball. Can he encourage Malaysia forward? That's too close to Dida in the Brazilian goal. But promising for the Malaysian side.
Well, on the occasion, they did get men forward.
And that's Cafu, long way offside there. Ball from Rivaldo looking for him. Is that a tactic you think Brazil will be employing in Korea and Japan, using their full-backs when they've got natural wingers available, Shabby?
Yeah, it's been a bit disappointing, but then again, traditionally, the Brazilians have always got their full-backs forward. If you remember, in 1994, they had Jorginho down the right-hand side. And of course, the great tradition of Brazilian left-backs, Branco, Junior, Roberto Carlos now, it just continues.
And you were saying they've got another young left-back in their squad now, Luizao, is it? You saying?
Well, they've got Junior, as they would like to call him, and he's another one. I mean, he loves running with the ball. He's a bit, I would say he's got more flair than Roberto Carlos. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him come on sometime during the game.
Meanwhile, Muhammad Syukur Adnan keeps hold of the ball for the Malaysian side, finding his skipper. And there we have it, Juninho looks stripped and primed, ready for action as Ronaldo picks up the ball, runs at the Malaysian defence, gets in between two of them, crosses the ball, but that's got too much on it. That's not going to find Rivaldo, although he does extremely well to keep it in play. Brazil keep the pressure now down this right-hand side. Again, Rivaldo orchestrating things, and that ball just wasn't going to find. Offside called on Cafu. And perhaps we're going to see a change now from the Brazilian side. No, not yet. Play continues. So Malaysians push forward. Akmal Rizal now with the ball. Nice layoff. They were looking for the first time ball from the skipper then. This is the Brazilian skipper pushing forward. Sorry, it's Denilson. Looking for Ronaldinho. Ronaldo picks up the ball, but he's lost it. Malaysia push forward now, and there are gaps appearing in the Brazilian defence. But Roberto Carlos tidies up at the back with Roque Jr.
Well, Akmal Rizal's first touch there, letting him down very, very badly on that occasion. And once again, the Malaysians having to backpedal, but once again looking very solid, very well organised, working very hard in midfield.
Emerson goes back to Lucio, who's new to the international setup. He's just burst onto the scene this season, hasn't he, Shabby?
Well, most certainly with his club team Bayer Leverkusen, he's been outstanding. But I would say that, you know, I still have my doubts about him at international level.
Maybe not as sound defensively as Cafu. Couldn't keep that ball in play. It's a Malaysian throw. And we're going to see a couple of substitutions. Juninho is going to come on. Kaká is going to come on. Edilson's going to get an introduction as well.
Well, there you have it. I mean, we've got the flair, we've got the flair of Juninho, the pace of Kaká there, and Edilson.
So Kleberson has come off, Rivaldo's coming off. And we'll try and get the other player who's come off. It looks like Ronaldinho who's going to come. Oh, no, they've changed their minds a bit. Yes, it is Ronaldinho who's going to come off for Edilson.
Well, this is very interesting, Ross. I mean, they've brought on two fresh midfielders and a striker on, which means that the Brazilians will be pushing for more goals. Definitely will be wanting to get more players forward. And I can tell you that with little Juninho. I think we have a game on our hands now.
We shall see what these three new players can bring to the Brazilian play as they keep possession. Going for a quick 1-2. Roberto Carlos caught then. Unfortunate. Oh, he's feeling the effects of that. He did get caught.
Well, it was a 50-50 challenge there. The ball was there to be won. And I would say that Zainizam Marjan on that occasion did extremely well. Didn't pull out, or rather it was Juzaili.
So, this is Kaka. A lot's been said of this young man who plays as an attacking right-sided or central midfielder. What an experience for him to be going to the World Cup at such a young age. As we look at Ronaldo giving that ball back, and there we go, goal number 2, and it's your man, Juninho. That's got to be his first touch.
Well, I did say that Juninho had come on and we had a game on our hands. As you can see, played a clever first-time ball to Ronaldo, kept on running, took the ball in his stride. Thank you very much, Juninho.
Yes, perhaps
has arrived.
You're looking to start with him instead of Rivaldo in that position. Great football, lovely footwork.
And you look at that, I mean, there's lots of time there, very, very calm.
All of the goal to aim at.
Passing it past the goalkeeper. A hallmark of a truly class player. As you can see, Ross, I am very, very happy with that. Having predicted that he was going to come on and make a difference.
Yes, he certainly has made a difference. We go back to the play at hand now. Malaysia win possession. What can they do from this? And that's a wild shot. Dida with still not safe to make there. Jalil having a shot then. Perhaps he had more time than he knew. But certainly as we look at the substitute here, Juninho, he's got great balance.
And that's a top-class finish, Ross. I mean, very, very calm, very cool. As I said, passing it past the goalkeeper.
And this is Ronaldo now, picking the ball up. Because Ronaldo had a lot to do in it. Second goal, didn't he? He set the goal up for Juninho, the former Middlesbrough and Atletico Madrid player. Malaysia are about to make another substitution. Hasmawi Hassan is going to come on, but not before Denilson has a run at the Malaysian defence. That's tidied up, although Roberto Carlos will pick up that loose ball. And this is Juninho, looking to pick up the ball early. Emerson playing it forward. Edilson has looked pretty useful on the ball as well since he's come on.
Well, certainly has looked very, very lively. And I would like to see the young kid, the number 23, Kaka, get more of the ball.
This is the Malaysian substitute running it. Roberto Carlos looking for Akmal Rizal. He collects the ball. Malaysia keep the pressure down his right-hand side. Roberto Carlos comes out to close him down. He's looking for support. Indra Putra with a great ball, switching sides there, looking for Rosdi Talib. This is good possession from the Malaysian side, and the shot was a bit wild there from Rosdi Talib.
Well, good possession football from the Malaysians, and for Rosdi, a natural left footer coming onto his right foot. It was a lot was expected of him, and hence just there you could see that as he got to strike it, the ball did take a bobble.
So the substitution does take place. Hasmawi Hassan comes on.
Well, he's a busy little player, scores a lot of goals for his state team Penang. It'll be interesting to see what options he can provide to the Malaysian attack.
Yes, and here comes Ronaldo. Oh, he had more time and he's perhaps shinned that one over the crossbar.
Well, he certainly did have a lot of time.
3 more changes for the Brazilian side then. We're looking at Belletti, a player who I've never seen before. Gilberto Silva. Roberto Carlos is coming off. Junior's coming on. In this place, that's the young left back you were talking about, Sherry.
Yeah, he certainly is a very, very impressive left back. As I say, he's got much more flair than Roberto Carlos. And it'll be interesting to see how he and Denilson operate down the left-hand side. Because I would say that, you know, they could take turns and it would really, really work for them. And Belletti there.
A player that we don't really know too much about, Belletti. Cafu, Roberto. So the first team left and right back. Oh, great skill from the Malaysian goalkeeper. Azmin Azram showing a bit of Brazilian skill then. As Malaysia pick up the ball now. Now they look, trying to cause Brazil some problems defensively. They've still got the ball. This is great stuff. The ball back in was just not what was required. Although they keep the pressure up here, Malaysia. Asmawi Hassan looking lively, Chevy.
Yeah, certainly has. I mean, there's a lot of good movement there from Asmawi and Zainizam Marjan. And it's good to see the Malaysians getting more players forward. I mean, it's 2-0. Let's go out there, try to get a goal against the Brazilians, who possibly have not really looked too comfortable.
Oh, that was lucky at the back there for Brazil.
Well, they
just didn't drop for Hasmawi then.
Well, they've got to get, the Brazilians have got to get the ball to their flair players now, get the ball to the forward players. We can see Lucio and Ruque Junior, not the ideal partnership in the center of defense, not a partnership I would take to the World Cup.
This is a good period of play for the home side as they keep the pressure down this right-hand side. But Denilson picks up the ball now. He can run with the ball. The referee perhaps getting in his way, but look at that skill as he breaks free and finds himself room, and he plays a terrible pass. And this is a chance for Malaysia now. Lucio clearing it there, but Malaysia pick it up again. And again they're looking for Hasmawi in the middle. They keep possession. And a free kick called by the referee for a foul on Indra Putra there by Kaka.
While working very hard, the Malaysians now getting, as I said, getting movement forward. Good play there from Indra Putra.
Big Phil looking very animated. Must be happier with things now. 2-0 to the Brazilians. And we're going to see another couple of changes take place on for both sides. But for now, it's a free kick to Malaysia as the referee gets the wall back. It's taken long, and Dida had to make the save then.
Well, Rosli Taleb deciding that I'll show the Brazilians how it's done. Almost catching Dida by surprise. Excellent ball there. I mean, super strike on that free kick. The outside of it, using his left foot and getting it around the wall, trying to catch Dida by surprise at the near post. But as I said, he's just shown the Brazilians how to do it.
So the corner's coming in. And that's Lucio picking up the ball. Plays it forward to Nielsen now, looking for runners. He's played that to himself. Look at that. He's breaking through now, the Nielsen. He's on goal. He's having a shot, and it's there. A beautiful goal. Brazil's third. And it's the Real Betis winger, the Nielsen, who makes it 3-0 Brazil.
Yeah, that's a super goal, Ross. I mean, picked the ball up in his own half, ran almost the entire length of the pitch, so to speak. But then the quality of that finish, I mean, just passed it into the back of the net from a very, very difficult angle. Not too much power in it. I mean, if you look at that again, lovely skills, and then just curls it around the goalkeeper into the far post. Great finish there from a great player.
Yes, wonderful skill. He did pick the ball up just inside his own half at the time. Wonderful footwork, and
Once again, we look at it, cuts inside and just passes it past the goalkeeper again, just curls it into the far post.
And what you could see Adilson and Kaka there, they were both available for the shot should Denilson not want to take it. We're going to see a change now for the Malaysian side.
Well, it's
Muhammad Mazuki Yusof is coming on. And Brazil, when they get a break in play, are going to make a substitution as well. But meanwhile, Ronaldo making a nuisance of, Kaká making a nuisance of himself there.
Well, it's a great ball there on the occasion. I mean, we got a picture of Belletti here, the right fullback. Come on for Cafu. Will have to work extremely hard to claim that right back spot for himself.
And the Brazilians are going to bring on Anderson Polgar.
Well, that's for a very, very tired-looking Roque Jr. And once again, as I said before, I have my doubts about him and Lucio as a partnership in the central defense.
And you've got to bear with your two commentators here. It's kind of tough keeping up with the substitutions, as they normally we're allowed 3 a game. It's just it's gone mad here. But Brazil attack at the moment. This is Kaká, beautiful, quick control, but that's snapped out. Malaysia break now. Keeping possession, trying to keep shape as they look for the front two. Hasmawi, he's looking very, very lively since he's come on. But you must say the Brazilians have stepped up a gear in this second half as well, certainly.
Well, they certainly have, Ross. I mean, they brought on their offensive players. Denilson come on and made a difference. And then Juninho come on and made a very, very big difference. Suddenly there was life in midfield, there was flair in midfield, there was imagination in midfield.
And it looks like another substitution. Vampeta is coming on for Lucio.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Vampeta is a natural midfielder. Interesting to see who partners Anderson Polgar in central defense.
Meanwhile, the Brazilians are on attack. Denilson's ball is cut out, picked up by Kaká, and Belletti down this left-hand side. Although that return ball from Kaká left a lot to be desired. Malaysia pick it up in midfield, deep in their own half. They try and get things going for Hasmawi up front, but that's going to be cut out by Gilberto Silva, who looks like he's slotting into the central defensive position. And that's Luizao we're looking at there, the number 21.
Well, it is very interesting now. If you look at the way the Brazilians are lined up, they've literally got 4 front players. Denilson, Luizao, Kaká and Adilson. And this new centre-back partnership of Anderson Polgar and Gilberto Silva will be interesting to see.
Denilson, though, since he's come on, has done magic for Brazil. And there we see again a shot from the man going just wide.
Well, he certainly is. I mean, if we all remember, Denilson became the most expensive player in the world when he cost £21 million.
Yes, and his club got relegated.
And then his club got relegated. His career took a nosedive. But he's up for this one. I mean, he wants a starter's position. He wants to start in all of Brazil's matches. And we have seen in this game, I mean, he's just come on there and given us a very, very enterprising display.
And it's a totally different Brazilian side from the one that started the first half. They're 3-0 up with 14 minutes to play.
Well, Denilson in the picture there, as we were talking about him, Ross. Yes, the Brazilians, as I said, I mean, Scolari will realize he's got to try to break down his 3 first-round opponents, China, Turkey and Costa Rica. And the way to do that is to bring on offensive players. Players who will get you into the opponent's half, players who will retain possession of the ball and who will make passes like that.
It's a beautiful through ball. Brilliant goalkeeping by Azmin Azram again. He's kept the score down, our goalie.
He's been outstanding. I mean, Azmin Azram making a comeback into the national team after the disaster of the SEA Games. He's he's had a wonderful game. I mean, he can be proud of himself. But we saw that save there. I mean, we saw Juninho slide the ball through the defenders.
He's made the difference playing in that hole instead of Rivaldo. Perhaps it's because Rivaldo was coming back from an injury and, you know, players are not as sharp.
Well, to be honest, I think Rivaldo's had an up and down season. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries. Didn't do too well with Barcelona, or rather his club didn't do too well. And as I said, I mean, in his position, we saw him play with his back to the opponent. As a midfielder, that's a lousy position. You never get caught with your back to the opponent's goal as a midfielder.
That's an overhead kick that comes up here, and there we go, goal number 4 for Brazil, and that's the substitute Edilson. It was an outrageous overhead kick before that.
Well, Edilson had a lot to do, I would say. He had the defender to deal with, did extremely well. As you can see, the defensive footwork of the Brazilians, just making that difference there, just enough to make space and time for himself to slot it past Azmin Azram. Well, that's a disappointing, dejected looking Azmin there, who's had a great game so far. But this man, he can afford to smile because he's just got a good goal. If you look at that, dummied the defenders come back, dummied him again, and then hit the back of the net.
Yes.
Super skills there once again, as we see here from Edilson.
Before that, Kaká's outrageous overhead kick got to Edilson. Meanwhile, Malaysia try and get on the scoreboard, but we're not with a ball like that.
Well, very disappointing final ball on that occasion.
So with 12 minutes to play then, it's looking more like the score we thought it would have been at the start. It's Malaysia 0, Brazil 4. And they're looking for more. This is Kaká, and that's offside. Edilson was a long way off then.
Well, Kaká, they're just spending a little bit too much of time on the ball. He needed to play that one early, but you would only expect something like that from Juninho, who's got great vision. It's coming there for me, Ross. Made a world of difference.
So 11 minutes to go then. It's Brazil's final tune-up game before World Cup 2002. Handball called on Kaká there. They jet off to Korea and Japan tomorrow, where they will be facing Turkey on June the 3rd. That's their first game.
Well, that's going to be a different ball game altogether. I mean, I'm sure Turkey have got spies in this stadium right now, and looking at the Brazilians play and thinking we've got a chance. And I wouldn't blame the Turks for thinking that.
Yes, I would say Coach Alan Harris has a lot to be proud of his Malaysian side as we look at Big Phil there.
Well, definitely. I mean, the Malaysians come out there, put in a very, very solid, determined performance. Were very disciplined in defense, worked very hard in midfield. Of course, there are areas where we can be better, especially offensively.
Yes, I agree.
But again, the important thing for Malaysia was to go out there and have that very, very good first half, which they did, which means that we have a lot to build upon. And always, good teams, great teams are always built from the back.
Well, Malaysia are going to get a chance to put some offensive play into action here, but that goes over the head of the strikers. That's going to be picked up down this left-hand side. Indra Putra, who's tired a bit maybe in the second half. That's a beautiful ball out of defense. Looking for the players, and Edilson with acres of room to run into. Wonderful ball trickery there, cuts it back, dummies it, and that was showboating there, Chevy.
Well, that was Brazil. I mean, we saw Edilson one-on-one situation, does a quick step over, leaves the fullback for dead, cuts it back. Juninho ran onto the dummy. Unfortunately, there was not enough support coming in. But we saw Juninho play Edilson through with another early ball. Excellent vision from that little man.
I must say, I've been impressed with Edilson since he's come on.
Well, he certainly has looked very, very lively. I mean, looking at the way the players have performed here, I would start with Ronaldinho and Edilson up front. with Juninho sitting in that hole behind them.
But Malaysia now trying to get something going, but that's been cut out.
Well, very difficult there for Jalil on his own. He's had to work very hard, having to face Denilson.
Zainizam trying to push forward, but to no avail as Brazil now maybe playing out the final 8 minutes. We're going to see a couple of changes for the home side. Substitute goalie coming on. I suppose Alan Harris will be taking this chance to blood. I mean, the youngsters, as we look at a chance here, maybe for Brazil, that's cleared away.
Well, we can be proud of the first half performance, Ross. It's been a wonderful, wonderful performance from the Malaysians. And yes, I think everybody on the bench should be given a chance to play against the likes of Brazil for that matter.
And Malaysia will be playing in another high-profile friendly, 24th of July versus Chelsea. You can watch that here on NTV7 as Kaká breaks free for Brazil. Edilson here picking up the loose ball. Going back, looking for movement forward. Edilson gets it back. Kaká's moving up, gets the ball down his right-hand side. Looking for a good cross. That wasn't it. They maintain possession.
Well, Ross, from what I've seen of Kaká, for that matter, I mean, he's looked a bit raw. He's looked a bit overawed by the occasion, really.
And this Denilson with some wonderful trickery, buying himself time. Edilson bringing it down for Kaká and just didn't get his shot off in time. Again, wonderful play from Denilson down his left-hand side.
Well, there you have it, a natural wide player, one-on-one, take the fullback on, and Kaká there just snatching at it again. As I said, he's looked very, very raw.
And so we're going to get a couple of changes now from the home team. Indra Putra, who's had a fine game, he's coming off.
He did extremely well down the left-hand side for Malaysia, not afraid to take on defenders, gave the likes of Lucio a lot of trouble in the first half.
Yes, Mohammad Nizam is coming on in his place. And Azmin Azram, who's performed heroics in the Malaysian goal, is being replaced by Muhammad Shamsuri. How much work will he have to do in this 5 minutes, Chevy?
Well, that'll be interesting. I mean, we've lost the battle in midfield. Once the substitutions were rung, it was Brazil who took over with Juninho pulling the strings.
And he really has lifted the Brazilian team. Scolari will do well to heed your advice and start Juninho instead of Rivaldo.
Well, he certainly could do that, otherwise he'll be facing the sack even before the campaign is over. We saw what...
Denilson again, he looks so comfortable running with the ball. And that's a long shot, that's going to be a corner. Almost embarrassed by how far off that was. That's Van Pata. He's getting a corner though, it was a deflection. As Brazil maybe looking for the 5th goal in the last... We're inside the last 5 minutes now.
Well, we've got the centre-backs up there. We've got Anderson, Folga and Gilberto Silva come up for this one.
A chance for Muhammad Shamsuri in the Malaysian goal to command his defence here. And I would say that was the goalkeeper's ball, that one.
Well, it certainly looked like that. I mean, he's come out for it. We could almost hear him shouting for that one.
Gilberto Silva with a header just over.
Well, it was a very difficult angle for Gilberto Silva there to try to get it into the back of the net. He would have done well to just have headed it back across the face of goal. Well, Ross, this has been an interesting outing for the Malaysians. I'm sure they would take a lot from this game. I mean, They matched Brazil stride for stride in the first half, did extremely well defensively. The midfielders, they worked very well as a unit.
And you think good workout for Brazil this?
Well, it certainly, I mean, it has answered a lot of questions, or rather has posed a lot of questions for Scolari, and he hasn't got time now. He's got to act on what he has seen, what he has witnessed. I mean, the first half, Brazil was so flat. It was almost boring watching them. I know Ronaldo could have scored a couple, but still, they never once were dominant enough.
Yes, and Malaysia try and push forward now. What the crowd would give to see a Malaysian goal. Big Phil attempting the impossible, trying to win the 5th World Cup for Brazil. Juninho on the ball. He's been marvellous since he's come on. Look at him. That great ball there, and that's a beautiful ball for Denilson. Played across, and first bit of work for the substitute goalkeeper. Good handling.
Yeah, and there was a great run there from Junior in that left back position on the overlap. And once again, Ross, we saw Juninho. I mean, the timing of his passes, the quality of his passing has just been excellent.
But wait a sec, Malaysians in space here. A chance. Muhammad Mazuki just couldn't keep his footing. And Brazil break with the ball now, although that wasn't kept in. So we're in the final minute then, as we look at Luizão, one of the new breed of Brazilian players.
Well, this is going to be a very big headache for Scolari. I mean, we've seen literally his second team come out there, dominate play, score the goals, whereas his first team looked like
jaded.
Very, very jaded, looked very, very flat. Rivaldo was very, very disappointing. Ronaldo looked very sluggish.
But Juninho and Denilson, now these two look very... Look at that ball by Juninho again. Wonderful ball. Looking for Junior down this side. Back to Juninho. Plays it short, Denilson. Wonderful skill. Eases past 3 players. Gets it across, but that's cut out.
Well, they would definitely start in my Brazilian team. Denilson and Juninho, we see them in the picture there.
Two players in the picture there.
Excellent players, wonderful skills, great vision. And like I said, I mean, this game will have 4 questions for Scolari, and he's got to make the right decisions, because this was one very, very big mistake to play the Malaysians, I would say.
And that's a chip. I think it's gone off the defender for a corner. Kaka attempting an outrageous chip then.
Well, he's young, he's looked very raw, he's looked like he just doesn't fit in there into that team, but well, there's raw talent. But this man here, Dilson, he's been outstanding as well.
Yes, he's looked the business, this guy. Where do they churn him out from, the Brazilians? It's a diving header from Luizão.
Well, and it was an excellent save there from Shamsuri. Muhammad Shamsuri, they're doing extremely well, getting down very, very low. Well, Ross, all in all, I would say that, you know, it's been a good performance from the Malaysians. First 45 minutes that really showed that we are on the way back. We are finding our way back into international football. For the Brazilians going into the World Cup, big headaches there for Scolari. I think he's going to have a few sleepless nights on deciding who his best team is going to be, or which of his players are going to start the game against Turkey. Of course, Turkey will provide much stronger resistance.
Now, are we seeing a final attack here? Can Malaysia squeeze something out of this Brazilian defense? It's a corner. It comes in, no problem for Dida whatsoever. Chucks it out. Luizão breaks with the ball. Runners left, right of him, looking for the right ball to play. That's Juninho, who just couldn't collect the ball.
Well, what was interesting, Ross, was the fact that the number of blue shirts who got up in support of that ball. I mean, look at that, 5, 6, 7 of them, and that's really, really amazing. That's something we never saw Brazil do in the first 1 hour.
Yes. Meanwhile, we're in the final seconds of the game, and I do believe the host country have a free kick in a threatening position.
Yes, and we also have Rajan, who I have seen strike a dead ball really, really well.
He's the 1R of Malaysia.
And wouldn't I just love to see Rajan hit the back of the net from there? Although Rosni Talib might say, look, I troubled Dida once, I want to do it again. So we have options with free kicks. And wouldn't I just love to see the ball in the back of the Brazilian net?
This is the former AC Milan goalkeeper.
And a pretty dodgy one at that.
Yes, I was just going to say thank you, Sherry. Big hands, big hole. But here we go. What can Malaysia get from this? It's a shot direct on target. It's not going to trouble Dida. Made him look good. It's a long throw to Denilson. And there we have it. The final whistle. The tie referee calls it quits in the short time that Juninho has been on. He's certainly orchestrated a few things. So the 4 goals for Brazil then in the 52nd minute. Scoring opened by Ronaldo. Juninho followed that up. Denilson and Adilson, who you can see there, number 20. He's looked very, very lively. And not a lot you can say. What do you think then, Brazil? You fancy China, Costa Rica and Turkey now?
Well, to be honest, I think they are in for a torrid time in the first round. I mean, looking at it on paper, we would expect Brazil to score a hatful of goals against China and Costa Rica. But having said that again, I think Brazil will be very, very happy to come out of that first round.